If you caught one of my last lives, you'll have caught me debating this picture with a flat earther. This is a photographer's photograph from Mount Snowden. His name is Andrew Bailey. You can find him on Flickr. These are purported to be the tips of the Alps, 700 miles away. Okay. Now, I claim they're clouds. They're the tips of the clouds. The sun is shining through the tips. This is clearly clouds over here. So let's go through it and give the final death blow to this stupid claim. So the claim is that these peaks are these 8 mountain peaks. Left those out for some reason. Guess he couldn't match those up to anything in reality. But he pointed at these 8 peaks and said, these are mountains. Then he identified them. And then he said, let's focus on just Mont Blanc. Forget the rest.
Looking at the Bailey photo zoomed in, of course the naysayers are going to claim that those are clouds in the distance.
Because they are.
And admittedly, it can be difficult to differentiate between white clouds and snow-capped mountains. But those are not clouds, and that's what I'm going to prove. On the Bailey photo, here is where you can find the 8 peaks. The Bar des Secrets there on the right is 735 miles away. Absolutely amazing.
Begging the question.
It would simply take too much time to look at all 8 peaks, and so I encourage you to watch the whole video by Nobel. He did a great job at lining those peaks up with the Bailey photo.
No, he didn't.
For us, we're going to concentrate on only one path here. Your Wyddfa to Mont Blanc. Here is where Mont Blanc is located in the Bailey photo. This is the same photo cropped. Compare this cropped photo of Mont Blanc with another picture of the same mountain from a distance.
Looks the same.
I don't
very
think
similar.
anyone can reasonably disagree. The Bailey photo certainly looks very close to the other actual pictures of Mont Blanc. It's very close. But if that were the only evidence, I'd probably not share this video because it would be too debatable. For me, this is what ends the debate. It is the fact that all 8 of these peaks match up with the Bailey photo, and I encourage you to examine it yourself.
I will. And no, they don't. So let's dig into that. Okay, so here we have Mount Snowden, or Wyddfa, however you say it. And here we have Jungfrau. Okay, let's look at the line of sight of that. Okay, so here we see that it's right over, if you can see my mouse here, it's right over this little edge of this peak. Okay, on the down slide of this peak here. Why is that important? Well, because as you can see here, Jungfrau, in his picture, he lines it up right where this valley is. Okay? Not over here on the downslide of this peak where I showed it on Google Earth. It's in this valley. Okay? First problem. Okay, so here we have Mount Meij. I'm going to butcher all these names, so Le Meij. So there is that one. And so where does this line up with where they were? Okay. So you can see that's right to the left of this peak, Fodouy. Okay. It's on the downslope right there. So why is that important? He says that's this right here. And that is right straight above this flat, kind of flat looking peak. When in reality, it is not over the flat little peak here. It's to the left in this valley. So I just showed you that 2 of them don't line up. Let's look at the others. So the yellow peaks here are where the actual mountains line up from Mount Snowden. And here are where the flat earther claims the peaks are. As you can see, the only one that lines up is Mont Blanc. That's why he chose that particular one to look at. The one of 8 that lines up correctly. So I would say, since the other 7 don't line up, the fact that this one happens to be close is a coincidence. But he goes further. He says because they look the same, that's also evidence that they are indeed mountains. Now let's take a look at that. Here's the side-by-side of the Bailey photo and some random image he took of Mont Blanc off the internet. And he says they look similar, and they kind of do. I'll admit they kind of do look similar. Here's one problem. What angle did we take this photo from? Or did we just grab one off the internet and say, wow, that looks like it matches, so let's use that. Okay, so this is the picture from the Flurf video. This is a picture I found on Google trying to reverse image search this. This is the same angle as this. Clearly they line up as far as the peaks go. This angle is shot from Mont Revard. Now, where is Mont Revard? Now, in case you don't believe me, here's another one from Mount Revard right here, showing that it is indeed the same angle. This is from Mont Revard. So let's check it. So here we go. Here is Mont Revard. As you can see, it is west of Mont Blanc. And this is the angle of the mountain that we see in those pictures. This is completely not the angle that we would see. Check this out. From here, Mt Snowden. So Mt Snowden to Mont Blanc would be this way. But the picture from here that matches the clouds is from this angle. So even though your clouds happen to kind of match one angle of the mountain, that's the incorrect angle of the mountain that we would see from the picture location, you're jumping to conclusions using false information. But there's one more piece to this puzzle.
Whoa! Guess what? When I zoom in on this, no one in their right mind is telling me that this is a mountain.
Mountains, Bill.
That's not a mountain. Look at the fluffiness here. Look at the fluffiness.
Those are mountains,
Those
pal.
are nice. Those are nice mountains. So, by the way,
Hey, you know,
so I gave you examples of silver lining.
So I brought up these clouds here, all the way to the right there. Now, here, these guys. I brought these clouds up here because he also claimed those were mountain peaks, right? Those clouds weren't even mentioned in the original conspiracy video. And there's a reason for that. Because these are exactly what's happening everywhere in this picture. This is all just the tips of the clouds being lit up by the sun. But those weren't mentioned in the conspiracy video, and this is why. So if you look at this, those clouds were directly over, I'll show you again. From this vantage point, they're to the right of this flat mountain here in this valley. They're directly through this valley. So if we look at Google Earth, that's the flat part of the cloud of the mountains, and they're in this valley. So what happens when we follow this path? So they're right to the right of these guys here. Okay. So I'm just going to make a mark here. I'm going to keep going straight out. Okay. So if we're here, looking through that valley at those mountains, why, when we follow the path, does it lead us to an area of Earth with no mountains? There's no mountains here. The Alps are over here to the left. Those are indeed clouds that you said were mountains.
No one in their right mind is telling me that this is a mountain.
Mountains, Bill.
That's not a mountain. Look at the fluffiness here. Look at the fluffiness.
So if you were fooled by those clouds, to think they were mountains because there's no mountains here at all. Maybe you were fooled by the other one, including Mont Blanc. Let's also not forget that the photographer, Andrew Bailey himself, said on the picture that they were not mountains. The above is pretty much what is there before, but with the debatable bits removed, such as clouds that people have mistaken for mountains in the distance. These are all clouds. Thanks for playing.